Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I think it's been a little while since I have done a talk through of a painting demo for you. So I wanted to do one that's a little bit festive. So what I'm going to do is talk you through really simple, quick, easy ways of painting robins. So I've got some watercolour paint here. Obviously I've got some water and I've got a round head brush. This is about a 12, but you don't have to have that size. If you have a smaller one, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is dip into the water. I'm going to go into some red paint here. A little bit more water just to help it move. And I'm literally going to start here and we're going to paint the robin's red breast. And we're just doing that shape. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of orange into it. I'm literally just stippling in the paint. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to repeat this process because I'm going to do about 9 to this page. So this is a really quick, easy way of doing some painting of robins. And if you want to do a sort of larger full page version, you absolutely can do. But doing little small ones, I always recommend, because it gets you used to doing the shape, because obviously you're repeating it. But for this time of year, when people maybe are planning presents and gifts for people, these can make wonderful little gift cards as well. They're quick and easy to do. Let's just bring that shape out a little bit. So you can see these are the sort of shapes that I'm doing. I'm adding a tiny spot of water each time. So let's do the next row. You don't have to be specific with it or anything like that. You're literally just doing a really simple shape. So think of it sort of like a circle with half a circle underneath it, all right, to try and describe this unusual shape that we're making with the paintbrush here. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of orange into some of them, not all of them. I'm going to do them a little bit different, so they're not all going to be the same. Some of them will have a bit more pigment, so a bit more colour, will be a bit more intense. The thing with watercolour is that it will dry much lighter, and obviously the more water you add, the paler that colour will become. So we can see this one up here, I used more water, so it's a bit paler, but also as you move on to do several of these per page, if that's what you want to do to paint along with me, then as you get to the last row, the top row will already be doing its job in terms of drying. So I'm now going to do the last row here. Again, we do a circle, sort of a circle, and then we just bring that down and just curve that out. So this here is going to be the robin's head. This is going to be the red breast of the robin. I'm just going to continue with these. As you can see, each one is slightly different. They're not all exactly the same. And we're going straight in with paint, so we're not doing any drawing or guidelines or anything like that. We're just going straight in because these are nice simple shapes, nice easy painting today, so you don't have to worry about getting things in a specific way. All right, so each one's slightly different. And now what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to put a bit more water on my brush, but I'm taking the excess off, so I'm just doing that on the side there. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of yellow ochre. And I know these ones are still wet down here, but it doesn't matter too much because it doesn't matter if the colours blend. we're literally just going to add a little bit of a yellow ochre stripe just down that side there. As I said, it doesn't matter if it blends with the red and the orange. All right, we're going to do that to each one. Just adding a little bit of a stripe line. I'm going to add a bit more to that one. You can see how quickly these are building really nicely. Add a little bit more here. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to go into some burnt umber. So I've got some dark brown here. And let's do this one here in the middle so you can see. I'm going to add a bit more paint. I've got a little bit too much water there, so I'm going to add more paint to it. And what you're going to do is you're going to just paint around that yellow ochre sort of type stripe you've just done. You're going to go over the top of the red. Just going to curve that out and then do a little line there, and that's going to be the robin's tail. So hopefully you can start to see a robin shape forming now. And you're going to repeat this for all of the robins. As I said, if you're doing several to a page like I am, you can always add in more paint. So this bit here, I've got a bit more paint on the tip of the brush. Just add that in. I'm just stippling that, so it will give a little bit more depth to the robin's wing. We're just going to do the same to each one. There we go. Adding a little bit more. So when it starts to get really pale like this, I go into a little bit more paint. As I said, they all will be a little bit different, but all similar. So we're just repeating the same shapes. My brush is starting to dry out a little bit now, so I'm just adding a little bit of water to the tip. You don't want to dip all of the brush in because you'll get far too much water. You only want a little bit at a time just to move the paint around. And like that. So we've got the tail. Go over the top of the head, around and down. You're just going to keep making those same shapes. So we've got the watercolour bit done now, and once you know everything's dry, so you might just want to leave this for 10 minutes or so. Again, depending on how much water you've used will depend on how long it takes to dry. And then what we want is a pen. I've got a Sharpie fine liner here, but you can use any pen that you like. What we're going to do is we're just going to draw around the shape. I don't want to do a sort of solid clean line. I'm going to do sort of a little bit of a waviness here so that it looks like the ruffles of feathers. Go around the bottom of the tail, and then when you get to this bit, you're going to go down, round and up, and then you just put in a little line for the legs. The second leg you always want to be on an angle like that. Okay, we do a little triangle and a longer triangle for the beak. Do some little dots and dashes here, and then we do a circle. Leave a little gap for the white of the eye, and then what I like to do is just do some little dots and dashes here where the tail is, just to give the idea of some fluffiness to the feathers. And I just go up to the top of the head like that. Just go over them a bit more just to make it a little bit darker, a bit more detailed. And there you go. That is the quickest, easiest way to draw a robin. Okay. I'll repeat the process here. See if I can zoom in the camera a little bit more so you can see on this one. So we're just going to go around the outside, come down to basically where the watercolour ends, and you go back over to this side and around the bottom of the tail, doing sort of a wavy curvy line here so it's not absolutely clean. You get here to the bottom of the yellow ochre stripe we did. You then bring that out, round and back up. Again, the legs, we do a line there, and then you do one on an angle there. Do a little triangle, a longer triangle, a circle for the eye, a little circle within the eye, dots and dashes, and then more dots and dashes here for the feathers. I go up to the top of the head and then I come back and I add a bit more here just for a bit more detail. Alright, and then obviously, as I said, if you're doing a larger one, you can add more detail with pen, different colours if you like. You can go in with colour pencil, or you can just keep it nice and simple like I've done. You can do several to a page, as I said, like I've got here, and these will make wonderful gift tags. I hope you found that helpful. I'll pop some links in the description below to some of my other art demos and all sorts of other things I do, including junk journaling, art journaling, virtual exhibitions, just so you can see lots and lots of creativity. I hope you found this useful, and I will see you again soon for my next video.